Our favorite mad scientist has crawled out of the deep, dark, and unending void to deliver us another theory. What's going on, you guys? Let's see about L24 here, and theorizer. We're back once again with a Pixar theory, specifically an Incredibles theory, and even more specifically, a theory on our favorite woman, second favorite woman, in the Incredibles series, from Incredibles 1, Miss EDNA Mode. Oh boy, we always knew that she had some shit to hide, and some stuff that she was not telling us, and apparently the theorizers have exposed EDNA Mode, because apparently, from what I've heard, his theory is that she created the SUPERS. Big claim, I know. Let's see what kind of, my brain farted. What kind of evidence he has for EDNA Mode creating the SUPERS.
EDNA Mode is the real MVP of the Incredibles.
She is.
She's a legendary fashion designer,
She is.
a brilliant scientist, and a mad genius in disguise, all while being hilarious.
Oh?
But
Yeah.
who is she really?
Uh-huh.
Got our answer. It makes so much sense.
Oh boy.
I promise that afterwards you'll agree with me.
Let's see what EDNA Mode, our favorite other fictional mad scientist, is cooking. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm the theorizer, and Edna is a little suspicious when it comes down to it. She doesn't have many scenes to go off of, but there's stuff between the lines. In the first movie, we see her at the wedding flashback, and in the present, Bob goes to her modern mansion to get a patch job on his supersuit.
Yes.
She immediately tries making him a whole new one with tracking capabilities and a better fit. She strongly advises against wearing capes and explains how tons of supers died, all because of, let's face it, her designs. When Helen finds out about the patch job,
she's always about, like, the thing, like, no capes, do not wear capes, you will die if you wear a cape. Why? Why is she so adamant on having these supers not wear capes? Like, that's something that I've always wondered. Is that she has all of these, like, creative designs here, and she just has them ready? Like, when Bob comes in, she doesn't even bother with patching up his old suit. Apparently she just makes a new one? Like, she has all the materials to create a new suit? Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. There's something off about you, Miss EDNA Mode.
Tries inviting her over and reveals that she's created matching suits for the entire Incredible family down in her mad science lab.
Coincidence.
Ultimately, this spurs them all to fight the fight together and stop Syndrome from killing more superheroes.
Yes.
She's also there for the Parr family in the sequel, where she studies Jack and learns of his many powers.
I've yet to watch Incredibles 2.
Baby's work, and then calculates dimensions and transcends material science to create technology capable of containing him. She's like Q from James Bond, the gadget maker for the spies. She knows a lot more. She's a futurist, but she's also fantastic, and frankly a legend. But we don't know much about her from what little we see. She's rich, intelligent, fashionable, and visionary, but seems to have closer ties to the supers than anyone can imagine.
Yeah?
Who is she really? How does she play into the whole superhero relocation program that everyone's a part of? She's more important here than almost anyone, but how so? And clearly she's mastered more than just fashion. Her true passion is powers.
Yes.
And understanding. Just take a look at her secret laboratory. She describes the supers as gods, truly super models for her designs. How does she have all this technology? Well, I think she's been in charge of something massive. She's not just the fashion girl, the gadget girl. She's the head honcho, in some sense.
What?
You might see where I'm going with this. If you've been with me
Good.
for a while, you'll know of my extremely lengthy history with The Incredibles.
Mm-hmm.
My first real theories on it were my Syndrome videos, where I tried
Yes.
figuring out whether or not Syndrome could actually...
And we've seen those theories. We've seen those Syndrome theories when we were watching his second Pixar dissertation. I'm sure this is gonna play into that at some point with, Baby Smitty Part 2, or, whatever comes next with that theory set. Still waiting on that one, by the way, but I know that it's gonna be fucking awesome, just as it's gonna be awesome with the more to logic segments, because, oh boy, that's gonna be interesting. So is Baby Smitty Part 2, which I think is gonna be the next part in that overarching DreamWorks theory, connecting yet some more, movies.
His superhero? Conclusion? Yeah, in fact, his entire base was his parents and Gazerbeam's base before he learned the truth about them and
Yeah.
offed them one by one, starting his descent into
Mhm.
villainy. With Mirage possibly being a robot he created using his super intelligence. A year later, I also did cover the second movie and made a
the
video
Secret Villain.
discussing just how much Winston knew about his sister's
Yeah, the
plan
Endeavors.
before dropping the biggest bombshell of them all, solving the entire conspiracy, the government agency, Rick Dicker, who killed the Devers' parents, all of it, seamlessly. You see, all of this comes down to this pesky agency there behind it. This also did end up tying together with a few other Pixar theories I made, culminating in the best theory video I've ever posted,
Yes.
bar none, simply
Yes.
entitled The Baby Smitty.
Yes.
But that's for later. You see, through all of these, I had been talking and revising my ideas and working on how things could tie into Edna without ever...
He's been like hinting in a lot of those videos, especially the Incredibles videos, that there's more to Edna than we know, and there's way more that she has done behind the scenes, because all we know is that she's helped, Bob Parr and the Parrs and stuff like that. I haven't seen Incredible Sue. I don't know what extent her knowledge and her helpfulness and her helpfulness is with that, but I do know that he's been hinting at it for quite a while, that there is something going on with her that needs to be found out.
A solid conclusion, but I understood this much. She knows a lot more than she lets on. For ages, I've endorsed the theory that she created Syndrome's suit, and knowingly did so with a cape, so he'd be doomed to die.
Okay.
I also now believe that yes, she created the family suits to motivate them all into action, and gave Bob a tracker because she knew what was coming. Her smug, all-knowing
So
face
she
and attitude
knew.
gives it away. She knows so much more about the agency and has a deep, deep connection with the government and supers as a whole. They always go to her for help. She's a mad scientist. She's connected to the agency, which Syndrome is a part of.
Yeah.
Of course, linking back to the Smitty stuff, but she's not evil. She's something much wilder. She has the technology. She has the fashion. She has the sass. But it comes from a...
Yeah, she's not the villain. Now, which is interesting, because, you would assume that someone like her would be a villain, but she's not. Like, she's not the villain in The Incredibles. She helps the supers. Like, she has these connections, and it's like, well, what is she then? If she's not the villain, then what could she possibly be?
A place of love and regret for the flawed designs that have killed so many. I've realized that Edna's past becomes rather obvious once you consider a simple fact. The Incredibles takes place in a little bit of a heightened version of the 1950s.
Okay.
A bit more technological, a bit more futuristic. And we know full well why from my older videos, but the point is that supers are all of a very distinct time period. Age of comics.
Yes.
The patriotic heroes that save the day, the magical figures that break the mold and defeat the evils of the world, of the World War II. I am almost entirely certain that in real life, superhero comics were substantially respondent to the Great Depression, and more notably the war
maybe.
effort, as seen with Captain America and many others. And I believe this bleeds over into the entire point and mythos of The Incredibles,
What?
giving us every single answer. If you align it, it goes something like this.
Okay.
To try and defeat the Germans during World War II, the
Yeah.
American government of The Incredibles started a program to heighten human physiology and
Yes.
defeat the enemy. Superheroes were made. Augmented humans as a direct advancement to the war effort in the 1940s alongside bombs, planes, submarines, and modern technology. The US government famously recruited German resistance members during this period, such as Albert Einstein, I believe, Operation Paperclip they called it. It's well known just how advanced the Germans sought to be, infamously scouring the earth looking for all sorts of weaponry to fund their grandiose plans for world
Okay.
domination. Their doctors and scientists were frighteningly unethical, of course, and ran human experiments out the wazoo. I only bring this up because all of this is the same thing. The National Supers Agency is the US
Yeah.
government's attempt to assimilate scientists from the German, Japanese, Italian axis with their own test subjects to create truly advanced superhumans out of public volunteers. And this is all important today because in the interviews with Brad Bird, director of The Incredibles, he explains how difficult it was to cast Edna Mode. He was going for a very specific accent blend, so much so that he actually couldn't find anyone else to successfully voice Edna. So he quite amazingly did it himself, giving us the character we have today. What was this accent? What was
German.
he going for? Well, to create this perfect gadget
Right?
gal, he explained that he drew directly from the two smallest countries with the two most slick and advanced technologies and designs.
It's like German
Ladies
countries.
and gentlemen, Germany and Japan.
Mhm.
This is explicitly displayed in every way by her design, and he chose, in the 1940s, to go for two specific countries that are technologically advanced out of the dozens to choose from. 2/3 of the
The World
Axis
War II.
powers,
Yeah.
people of the viewership. Edna Mode is a recruited World War II mad scientist.
Huh.
The fact that I can say this and have it make sense without even needing a colossal
I mean,
amount of evidence should
That
tell
does
you
make
everything.
sense.
But in the event that you need a bunch, consult my baby Smitty theory because, dear
Yes.
God, this makes Edna central to everything, and her life story, if it clicks, would play out something like this. Edna Mode, a young woman of German and Japanese descent,
Mhm.
is Germany's most valuable tool during their economic depression in the 1930s.
Yes.
Being at the highest levels of government and helping with their fashion and technology, she sees the signs. Things are headed for disaster. She explains when we first meet her that she often travels to Milan, Italy, working with their supermodels who only care for themselves.
Yeah.
Her Axis ties just don't stop.
Mhm.
Her heritage is Japanese. She knows what's going on in the Pacific. Living in Germany, she detects the first signs of incoming disaster and takes her intelligence and gets the hell out right before the country goes to shit. She flees to America and aids them with their poverty by providing technology to those in need.
Yeah.
This genius woman would be the very first when it comes to BNL, that AI company that runs everything in
Yes.
the US government in later films.
I mean,
she is
we know about BNL, you know, from his entire theory set on the second Picton edition and the Baby Smitty theory. We know what BNL is. We know what their deal is. Like, there's no speculation. So, yeah, I need to make a playlist of all of my reactions to that theory. I need to find them. Jesus, how long has it been?
given tools and money to fund real progress, creating heroes in the times of poverty, and most importantly, to aid in the coming war. In 1937, she creates the first superheroes, and hypothetically, these would be the two to give birth to a child, Buddy Pine syndrome himself. If my other theories are to be believed, he has super intelligence, rivaling the likes of Edna herself, but he's stunted by nature of being the very first born into it, has issues. Many more supers are now granted powers, courtesy of her knowledge of nuclear mutation, and later, the monster genome from Beyond the Veil, if you know what I'm referring to. Now, into the 1940s, Edna is viciously against her former home of Germany, and they are attempting to conquer the world. They are even using some of her old technology to do it as they seek out the supernatural and the remarkable. When they ally with her heritage of Japan and her associates of Italy, She has reached the breaking point and advises that they siphon over her associates in Operation Paperclip. In this heightened world of the Incredibles, Edna and her team would hypothetically be the ones using this knowledge of nuclear physics to create the atom bomb, a counter-agent to the fires of war and the evils of mass cremation. We see her lust and her drive even later during her demonstrations when she has miniature nukes. The Incredibles takes place in 1962, meaning the glory days take place in 1947, 2 years after they drop the nuclear bomb to end the Pacific War. Syndrome, the resulting fallout from Edna's experiments, begins to lose his cool, and as ever, Edna sees it coming. As more and more of her associates die by the capes, and this killer in plain sight, Edna blends the two dilemmas and provides Syndrome with the instruments of his own destruction. Artificial intelligence and the cape. Edna knows everything about the supers in these films. She explains how they grow, how they gain and lose powers, how they are as babies. She is the one.
Sassy mommy.
Supers.
Really?
That is her role.
I mean, it fits her. She is sassy.
Everything. Mother of BNL.
And if we go by...
She leaves her agency to the world powers. And ironically, this would make BNL and Disney the Germans' conquest. Founder of the supers. The Mad Doctor herself. It's fantastic. This flies directly into my Baby Smitty theory again, which of course needs a follow-up and is going to have one now. And recently I've also seen some posts from people who have now also seen the German-Japanese connection and immediately think she...
Can't wait for that follow-up for the Baby Smitty theory, by the way. That's going to be fun.
Hero we all deserve. I'll cover this more in my next Pixar theory, but for now, make sure to subscribe and join my Patreon for early uploads and shoutouts in Discord, which is where I spend a great deal of my time. Honestly, click the like button. I want 1 million.
And I get what I want.
Until next time, I'm the Theorizer. Only question now is, who is this cape-wearer Galvaki?
Yeah, here we go. Pixar in order. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh boy, so that was the Theorizer's Ethna Mode Exposed. A lot more of a laid-back reaction, too. Probably the most laid-back Theorizer reaction in quite a while. Coming off of the Tales of Part 27, I think. Yeah. More Part 26? Part 27? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know if it was Part 26, Part 27, I don't know. All I know is that was crazy, but this one was a lot less crazy, more chill, laid back, you know, but we know the Theorizer. His next theory, if it is the follow-up to the Baby Smitty theory, is gonna be a wild one, let me tell you. And whether it's that, more Part 27, another miscellaneous theory, y'all know that he's gonna create a banger. Like, just full stop, like, no memeing, no joking. This channel is an absolute fucking banger. Like, come on. You know? I mean, that's enough for this video. We'll see y'all in the next one later.